Bandwidth for First Updates Now is supported by AndyMark. Are you competition ready? Go to andymark.com and keep your team inspired. And by the Blue Alliance. Keep up to date on all live and archived First Robotics events and team stats at thebluealliance.com. First Updates Now is brought to you by viewers like you. Fund relies on the generous support of our fans in order to continue to keep creating content. Please consider donating, giving bits, or subscribing. Subscribe for a few bucks a month or for free through Twitch Prime. And don't forget that our subscribers get 5x chance to win on all giveaways.
Welcome back to InFiMidation, where once again we'll be talking about the best robots from the best region in FRC. Don't at me, Ontario. At the end of 5 weeks of competition, the top 3 ranked teams in the state are 302, 4003, and 245, just like everyone predicted. Tonight we'll be recapping all the Week 5 FIM action, touching on the teams that went south, yes, south to Canada, and previewing the Week 6 action that will determine the final few slots for MSC. Reporting for First Updates Now, I'm PJ.
I'm Nick.
And this is Allison.
Back from spring break.
Okay.
So, Nick, go ahead and get us started. What happened at Kentwood?
Yeah, so at Kentwood this weekend, it was definitely the Strike Force and NC Gears show. In 2767, they seeded first with a pretty high 3.41 RP average.
Not too shabby.
It's no 4.0 by the poofs, but 3.41 is pretty darn good. So they seeded first. They went on to pick, of course, 1918. And then they went with a rookie for their third pick, 7256, Irish Robotics from Kalamazoo. So this Power Alliance really didn't have much issue in the playoffs at all, eventually defeating the number 2 Alliance of 2771, Code Red, 6090, the Wildcats, and 7234, Rebel Robotics. In addition, 2771 does get the Silver Gold Kling Bling.
Bling, bling!
Cling Bling. They win the District Chairman's Award to go along with their finalist finish. And 244, the Robo Dogs 3D from Granville, they won Engineering Inspiration. And 7289, the Blue Eagles Fowler wins the Rookie All-Star Award. So overall, just a pretty dominating event by Strikeforce and NC Gears. Strikeforce looks really good, probably the best in the state right now, in my opinion, when it comes to robot play. So what went on in Shepherd this weekend, PJ?
All right, up in Shepherd, it was kind of a similar story where the number 1 Alliance seeded first. Not seeded first. The number 1 Alliance went through 6 straight, winning the event. 1506 seeded first. They picked 6753, the CBA Robo Kings, and they also picked a rookie for their third robot, 7226, Error 404. Like I said, they won 6 straight, culminating in a win in the finals over Alliance 3, consisting of 6077, Viking Kujan, I'm going to pretend I know how to say that name, 74, Team Chaos, and 6538, the Link Bots. Most exciting series at this event, in my opinion, was Quarters Series 3, which was Alliance 2 versus Alliance 7. All 3 matches were extremely close. 7 almost pulled off the upset with some good switch defense play by 35-35. Alas, it wasn't enough for them to finalize that upset. And that number 2 Alliance did advance before losing to number 3 in the semis. We have another Kling Bling alert. This time we got that double gold going to Team 15. Yes, that double gold going to 1506. Metal Muscle from Flint. And then EI went to 2054, the Tech Vikes. And that's actually their first Culture Award since winning Rookie All-Star in 2007. So good job to both those teams, and we'll hopefully see more play from them at States. So what happened at Troy, Allison?
All right, looking at the Troy event, we had our first-ranked Alliance pretty much send it all the way to the win. That Alliance, we had Team 67, Hot, 43-62, the Gems, and 26-76, the E-Course Robo Raiders. And all the way up in the finals, they were up against the second-ranked Alliance, pretty predictable. But we had Team 54-60, Strike Zone, 23-37, the Engineers, and Team 55-55, the Spartans. And, yeah, the Blue Alliance took the first match, actually, which was pretty exciting to watch. And then the Red Alliance came back and won the next two, which they were all really good matches. But the first Alliance taking that win for Team Hot, again, like that banner. I was
And then
very
what's interesting,
impressed.
actually, just if I'm going to hop in,
Yeah.
is actually that first match that the Blue Alliance won, what came after in semifinal 2-2, the Engine Nerds actually, their opponents got a red card because the Engine Nerds opponent got all tangled inside of their robot and ripped out a whole bunch of wires. So that ended up getting the Alliance a red card, and that helped propel the Nerds to the finals. But I was super impressed they were actually able to come back after only a 6-minute timeout, because like I was the ref. I was standing literally right over watching all this happen, watching these wires get ripped out, and I was like, oh man. But they were actually able to pull it all together, and they worked pretty well in that first finals match, and I was surprised they even got out there because they took that entire 6 minutes to get ready to go. But
54-60 was dead like that entire match too, which was crazy.
Yeah, there was a lot happening in that in those series. So, but very impressive by everybody.
Yeah, the second Alliance really played a great match. The first Alliance just came back a little bit stronger. I was very impressed. The Gems came out there with that 2-cube Auton, or at least they tried to in a couple matches. I think they were missing, but it was pretty close, and I'm guessing we'll see it at States coming up pretty soon. Looking at the Culture Awards at the event, we had Team 226, the Hammerheads. They already won Chairman's at Gaylord, but they won EI at Troy, so that was cool. And then 910, this is their first Chairman's win ever, and they really pulled it off at the Troy event this week. So.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take a moment just to talk about that a little bit, because I know that that win meant a lot to the team, because 910 actually they lost a student earlier in the week, like on Tuesday before the event. The team actually, they lost a student, and so I know everybody was really emotional at the event. It was really hard. They were emotional, and I knew that they were very worried because they didn't think they'd be able to talk to the judge. And the chairman's team was really shaken up, and after their presentation, they like felt that they hadn't done well because they were all distracted. And so after they won, actually, I broke down. I lost it. Like, I was sitting by the side of the field, sort of by by the FTAs and stuff. And when they announced 9-10 winning, I was bawling my eyes out, because I knew what the team had been going through. I knew all of that, and so it just meant a lot to the team. And I know that they really they needed it in a way, and I think it helped them. So I just have a lot of feelings about it, but so I just want to sort of throw that in there and just say, just as a PSA, just due to the events of the week and all that, I'm going to take a semi-serious tone for a second. Just if you're struggling, if you feel like you're alone, if you feel like you don't have anyone, there are people in the world that care about you, that love you. Reach out, talk to people. There's always somebody to talk to. And yes, so there ends PJ's serious moment of the day. So I guess I'm going to go ahead and just move into the Livonia recap. So once again, we just had the number one seeded Alliance sort of steal the show. 27 ranked first after a hard-fought battle with 302. They were going back and forth between 1 and 2 sort of all of Saturday. Although in the end, it didn't seem to matter because, 27 just picked 302 to be on their Alliance anyway. So I know 27 was stressed out about seeding first, but if you were just going to pick the team, and 302 would have picked 27, so like whatever. So 27, 302, and their third robot, 6116, Cougar Robotics, won in 6 straight matches, beating the number 3 Alliance consisting of 503, 3641, and 6954, rookie team Titans of Industry. This gave 302 their third event win of 2018 and our second double gold cling bling of the weekend.
Bling bling.
With 302 winning the event and taking home Chairman's, which was once again a huge upset over both 503 and 548.
Yeah.
And while 548 did take EI, that's not going to be enough points to get them to MSC. And this will be the first time 548 has ever missed MSC going back to 2009.
Yeah, so I think there was only like 15 or so teams that had made states every year since its inception.
Yeah.
And they were one of them. So that's one less team now that will have made it every year. 3OT was having a year, man.
Yeah.
Like 3 event wins and chairman now. They are clearing away #1 in Michigan right now. So watch out for them.
Allison, I want to ask you, because it's somebody who isn't familiar with district points too much. So how can you win a culture-changing award like EI and still not make it to states, Allison?
Yeah, so like the Robo saying the point I think is at 70 right now to get into states. The cutoff is at about 63 points, and winning an award like EI is 10 points. I'm pretty sure, right?
I think EI is only 5. I think Chairman's is the only one.
It's EI is 8.
Chairman's
8?
Yeah. Okay. So EI is 8 points, but if you're not ranking high enough at events or going to at least a couple like semis or qualifications, the points work out. And if you don't make it to 63, you're not going to make it to play at states with your robot. They're going to go there for EI to compete, but they won't be able to compete with their robot. So that's unfortunate.
For Chairman's is the only award that auto qualifies you to bring your robot to compete at MSC. EI and Rookie All-Star both qualify you to compete for those awards at MSC. And if 548 is to hypothetically win EI at MSC, then they'll qualify to go with their robot to Worlds.
Yeah.
The same as you would at a regional. But with the district point system, EI does not qualify your robot for the district championship.
Yeah, it's really designed to send the best competing teams to states to have the best like competition on the field possible. So like champs, sometimes you'll get teams that are competing that don't have great robots, but they're really good outreach teams. So Michigan, you don't end up having that as much, and that's why you tend to see stronger play overall at Michigan for sure.
Cool.
So I guess that wraps up Livonia. And that is all of our Michigan events for the week. We did have 4 Michigan teams compete at the Windsor District event in the Ontario region. We're not going to go into a deep dive on that event there, but we did have 3 out of the 4 Michigan teams competing there this weekend make it to the finals. 33 was the second overall pick by 7-7 who?
7-7-2.
There you go. So they were the second overall pick by 7-7-2, and they went on to the finals where they would meet both 4405 and 5505. 5505 really leading the alliance on that one, and 4405 somehow was a third robot on that alliance. I don't understand.
I know that their drivers were actually like out of the country, so they had drivers like sub in and playing for them. So that's probably they like ranked lower in the beginning, so they ended up being the third robot. But yeah.
Yeah, but even then they were still playing really well. So I was amazed they dropped that low. 1114 broke, so I know a lot of people were confused as to what was going on there. They broke in the semis, so that helped 5505 and 4405 definitely move on. But they were playing great. They went on to the finals. 33 did end up taking the win with 7-7-2 against those 2 teams. So it was a really awesome event. It was cool to be at. I was there this weekend, obviously. So it was really cool to see Michigan kind of dominate Ontario a little bit.
And then not to forget, 35-38, even though they weren't one of the 3 in the finals, they still made semis, correct?
Yeah, and they were doing really well too. Unfortunately, they tipped over in semifinal 1, so they were kind of out of commission for most of the match. So otherwise, the semifinals against 33 would have been a lot tougher. So overall, Michigan, great showing abroad, and that's kind of been happening all season. We saw it a lot with some of the teams that went into Indiana. I think we had a few different Michigan teams win in Indiana, or at least make the finals. And we had 302 won Miami Valley earlier, so a lot of
43-62.
Yep, right. So anyway, so that was your out of Michigan recap for the week, and now we're gonna move on to this week's top 25 for the state. Voted on in the FRC Top 25 polls. So looking at where the teams in Michigan finished amongst each other, 33 ended up on top, obviously, 27-67 right after them. Hot Team, Rush, Avondale, all rounding out the top 5. Allison, you got any thoughts on how this ended up this week? You think this is about right? You think you got some things wrong in there?
Yeah, I'm looking at the list. I see a lot of very impressive teams. Like, I agree with like how people were voting, and like there's a few that I would say like, oh, maybe you could be moved up, maybe moved down a little, but like overall I'd say like pretty generally like these are the teams to look out for in Michigan like this week that played. So like yeah
I agree for the most part. It seems about right. This was the first time I saw 4362 play, and they were so impressive. I think they should be in the top 5 in Michigan, personally. 3 teams from Troy specifically that I think should be on the list, but I get there's only 10, so there's only so much room.
Mm-hmm.
But 5460 for sure.
They're a really fast bot.
I'm a big Strike Zone fan, yeah.
Yeah, and I think they've got arguably the best intake in Michigan.
Definitely.
35-39 and 23-37 both also did very well, but I can see how they missed the top 10.
Mm-hmm.
But I would definitely probably swap 54-60 in for 55-05. That would probably be if I had to make one switch, that would be it.
I think so.
Yeah, 55-05, they're really consistent and solid. I don't know how much of a reach they can get to, like when it comes to states, depending on what division it is. It'll be interesting to see how high they can climb. 54-60 definitely has, I think, maybe more upside. So if they keep playing how they're playing, I could see them really make a run at states in a week and a half here. But it'll be interesting to see how it pans out. Obviously, week 7, there's not a lot of other events going on. So when we do the recap for week 7, there's going to be a lot of Michigan teams in the actual top 25. So that'll be cool to see.
Yeah, I think we've got.
Oh.
No,
that's what I was saying. We can take a look at next week right now. Looking at 5505 and Alpina. So Alpina.
Look at that transition. Ooh, good job, Allison.
I know. We're going all the way up north to Alpina, and teams to look out for: Team 5505. They've already played at 2 events this year. They were the finalists at Windsor last weekend. They beat 6-10 and 11-14. So, a couple other teams to look out for. We had Team 6077, the Weekang Kuchong, or whatever their name is. They're going up there as well.
If anybody wants to tell us how to pronounce that name, I would love it.
Please help me. We got Team 6121, the Robobikes, 3603, Cyber Coyotes, and 7250, who won the highest rookie seed at Escanaba. So these are all kind of like northern teams that usually do pretty well or have been doing pretty well this year that I think could be pretty tough competition up there. Looking at the culture awards for the event, I see a couple teams going up possibly to win some banners. We got Team 2405, the Techno Trojans, who won Engineering Inspiration last year. And then we have Team 3322, Eagle Imperium, who won 2 Engineering Inspiration Awards, I think in 2015 and 2014. So, there's really no other teams up there who have won the Chairman's Award ever, or really EI in the past a lot. Team 5505, V2 Robotics, won Chairman's at Escanaba, but they're going to be at this event. Maybe Engineering Inspiration, possibly, who knows. But other than that, looking like a fun event to watch up north, way up cold. I'm probably
Allison,
going to be...
I was going to ask on here, where the heck is Alpina? I just had brought up on Google Maps because I'm seriously looking at some of these team names. And
Alpina. So here's your lower peninsula,
heck?
Right? So because this is Michigan, we can use our hands.
Here's
a thumb. Detroit's over here. Alpina's up in this area.
I see that, but you that Viking Kujan team. There's Oskadawa Owl 5.
Yeah, what are they naming these?
Ogama Overdrive.
Alice, you have some of my favorite robot names. We'll get there in a minute.
Wow. Okay, sorry.
But
we'll do geography with Tyler. It'll be a new fun show.
This is crazy.
I will probably be at Alpina on Saturday, so way up here.
All right. So then I'm going to quickly talk about Forest Hills. Forest Hills, for those who need geography lessons, is out near Grand Rapids, if you know where that is. So 15 teams there, so over a third of the field are playing their third FIM event, so they're just looking to practice for MSC or just eat up points from other teams. As opposed to Alpina and a couple of the other events this week, there are some strong chairman's contenders in 503, 1023, 3618, and 4967 are all still looking for that chairman's win. Only one of them can take it. All 3 of those teams should be okay to make it to states. 4967 is a little bit on the bubble, so they might need the chairman's win more than a couple of the others to make it to states. But any of those 4 could take it. Notable teams still playing for points. 3357 is looking for their 3rd event win and 4th banner to stay on pace with 302 for the most successful team in Michigan this year. And then 2771 and 3452, 4381 are all teams that are still playing for points, even though 2771 and 4381 already won chairmans each. So they're they're already good for states. So, Nick, what's happening in Lakeview?
Yeah, so Lakeview. I guess we're doing geography lessons tonight. Lakeview is taking place in Battle Creek, Michigan, for those who know where Battle Creek is.
Where they invented cereal.
I'm sorry, say that again?
I said it's where they invented cereal. Continue. Ignore me.
Fun facts here on Fun.
It's where Kellogg is based out of.
So the big, probably the two of the more favorite teams, 2834 and 2054, are both going to be on their third events. So they could probably have some pretty strong showings this weekend. 3656 and 2959 had good first performances, so they'll be looking to build on that at their second event this weekend. 3688, 5462, 5535. All three of those teams are on the bubble to make it to states, so they need to have a pretty good showing this weekend to guarantee that they get in. It is week 6, so any teams playing a second event are all in some regard playing to make sure they make states. So that'll be the big move there. And then there's also 8 rookies at Lakeview this weekend, so it'll be interesting to see who can win Rookie All-Star out of those. See what good up and coming teams we have. PJ, I'm not sure there's any big chairmans or EI favorites out at Lakeview this weekend.
There is not.
Yeah. So you're kind of our resident expert on chairman's teams here in the area, but nothing popped out to me. So
maybe 2959. That would probably be my favorite, but I honestly looked at that list 4 times and couldn't find a favorite.
Well, it'll be anyone's race. So if you want, go out and get it. So, but yeah, so that'll be Lakeview for this weekend, and then PJ, you've got Marysville. How was that looking?
Marysville, which is out by Port Huron, over here. As we're playing geography, he changed to a picture so you can see my map. But Marysville's out by Port Huron. There's only 2 teams there on their third event, 3668 and 5114. 1718 is definitely the chairman's favorite, but they're going to have to go through 217, 2604, and 5414. They should come out on top, but if they don't, it wouldn't be the first chairman's surprise this year. Fun fact about 217 that I realized I've never noticed: 217 hasn't won a regular season event since 2011.
Yeah,
which doesn't sound right, but it's true. But some of my favorites to win this event are 217, 1684, the Chimichangas, 1718, 4130, 4779, 5114, and 5155. One of my, I think Nick has a shout out he wants to give.
Oh, well, shout out to the Bears, my new favorite team for this season. They have, as always, a great team name, and I expect them to take home the entire event. They're going to bulldoze everybody because they are
because
the
of their
Bears.
team name.
Yep. All right. So,
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. Did you have anything else on Marysville?
Nope. I was just going to say we got to speed through LSSU.
All right. LSSU, just a quick preview. 141 is on their 4th event of the season. So maybe they could be one of the chairman's favorites, maybe, possibly. 4377, I think, is a good EI favorite. They already have chairmans, obviously, this year, so they can't win that. As far as the bots go, 857, 3602, 4391, 4392, and 4970 are probably the biggest favorites. PJ, you had a couple shout-outs on...
Oh, my shout-outs are my two favorite team names I think I've seen in my life. 5702 Robotowanami and 5706 Tequamanon Phenomenon. So I want them to win everything because of their team names. Then one other thing I noticed for LSSU is there's no rookies going to the event, which for a Michigan event is real weird.
Yeah, that is odd. So obviously no rookie all-star, but that's going to wrap up our previews for the week, and we'll wrap up the show. I do need to give a quick shout-out to Hot's operator, Marina. She did a great job driving this weekend, so shout out to Hot. Hopefully they do pretty well at States. So, PJ, why don't you wrap us up?
All right. Thank you to everybody who's been watching and putting up with our obnoxiousness today. If you want more First Robotics in your life and like what we do, all that we ask is that you let others know about this show and that this is the place to go for more FRC in their lives. If you have a few bucks to share, we appreciate it with a subscription, but if not, we totally understand and are delighted to have you on board. On behalf of myself, Nick, Allison, and our producer, Tyler, I would like to thank you for tuning in, and thank you to all of our moderators in chat. Our next show is We the North, coming up in about 5 minutes. Talk to you next week on InFiMidation.